Prince George's County politics are now being led by a new generation. Just 4 years ago, there were no millennials on the county council, and today, nearly half the seats are held by younger leaders, bringing fresh energy and a different style of governing. In 2020, millennials were absent from the Prince George's County Council. Now, 5 out of 11 seats are filled by that same generation of leaders. Council Chair Edward Burroughs, the youngest to ever serve in that role, says he got his start in county student government.
What got me initially very interested in joining the school board is because I was in county student government. I was able to visit so many of the other high schools across the county, and I was able to see that they had a lot more resources than my high school. And those disparities still exist throughout the county today. As it relates to becoming chair, I can't believe it. You know, I used to be an intern for the county council back when I was in high school. And so to now chair the body that I was an intern in not that long ago means a lot to me.
For council members Wanika and Krystal Oriadha, they say it was their family that got them involved in politics.
Being a first-generation American, I saw a lot of how policy impacted my family, bad policy in South Africa, and particularly with apartheid. And my grandfather was a huge organizer for the anti-apartheid movement, and my uncle was killed, and eventually we ended up here in the United States, and I was born here. So I think politics has just been more than politics. Policy has been a huge part of my family's story.
My parents, they would talk about politics at the dinner table as early as middle school. I was a fellow for both Obama's campaign and Hillary's campaign, and then went into organizing with organizations like Progressive Maryland. And it was after Trump's election the first time that I decided to get really focused locally.
Meanwhile, Councilmember Wala Blegay got her start through Young Dems, a youth-led political organization where she met Chair Burroughs.
Looking to get involved in politics, I decided to change my focus from medicine. I was going to be a doctor, and I moved to decide that I wanted to be in politics. I do think that overall it's time that we become a part of the conversation, because the norms of the generations before us, such as the boomers, or maybe even people say Generation X, but really the boomers, is when I got involved in politics, that was the point of the young delegate that I was working for. His whole thing was that it was a very older group that was controlling the political scene in the county and the state. And that was the boomers, actually. And it still remains that way, almost 20 years later.
And a newcomer, Shayla Adams-Stafford, recently sworn in as council member for District 5, brings her experience previously serving on the Prince George's County Board of Education.
Young people are stepping up to leadership, and there's a transition. And I think it's time. I think it's time for us to pass the baton to the next generation to get into policy making.
Now, as more young residents get involved in local politics, they believe the county's leadership will continue to evolve.